Thanks for listening to the Star Sport Podcast, number one for sport in West Cork.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome to the Star Sport Podcast. My name is Jack McCarran of the Southern Star, and I'm joined as always by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. On this week's show we'll be chatting to St James's club secretary Liam Evans ahead of their clash with Kilshannig in the Junior A county final this Saturday at Pairc Ui Rinn.
We're also reflecting on an incredible year for the Dohenys ladies, which saw them land the Junior B County Championship with a 1-point win over Midleton in mid-October. Their captain Martina Collins will join us for a chat in part 2.
Well, we're going to start with St James's, who, after landing the Carbery title for the first time in their history earlier this season, now find themselves in county final action on Saturday. We spoke about them on the back of their Carbery win, Kieran, but they have continued to impress since then, going from strength to strength and beating a number of quality sides in their run to the final.
Oh, it's a great story, Jack. I do think it's probably the biggest kind of story in Carbery GA this year, because St James has won the Carbery Junior Football Championship for the very, very first time, which in itself was an incredible feat. They were underdogs at the start of the year. They probably weren't in the conversation for kind of title winners, but they did. They won 5 games, beat Plunkett's twice, they beat Cora, they beat Argideen Rangers, and then they beat Ballinascarty in the final, and then that put them into the county series. And for me, like, when you're after winning your first ever kind of Carbery Junior Football Championship, and you'd expect huge celebrations, and there was big celebrations in Artfield and Rathbarry after they beat Ballinascarty, but the following week they were out in the county for the first time, and you'd almost forgive them, Jack, if they lost their focus a small bit, kind of, I suppose, like I said, the celebrations would have been so big and so deserved after winning Carbery, but they were focused so quick. They met on the Wednesday in between the Carbery final and the county game, and they decided, let's make this season go as long as we possibly can. They came out, they thumped Cove 2-17 to 2 points. Okay, kind of Cove might be the strongest, but still, it was just a good result to get up and running again. And then the impressive result in the quarter final, they beat Pairc Ui 111 to 12 points, and Pairc Ui would be a decent team, so all of a sudden you could see other teams around the county kind of starting to sit up and kind of take notice of James's, and kind of, alright, maybe they're not going to go away, maybe there's a bit more in this team. And then the weekend just gone, they beat St Michael's, a very good St Michael's team. They beat them 112 to 9 points, and again another remarkable win, and that's put them into this Sunday's county final.
Yeah, and I think a key thing we can take from their post Carbery campaign, they've played 3 games against Cove, Pairc Ui and St Michael's, as you mentioned. They've scored 440 and conceded no goals and just 23 points, so they're very solid defensively, but going forward they're also putting up decent scores. So I know we're going to come on to Kilshannig in a minute, but like, St James's have continued to impress, and I suppose off that strength in defence they've found themselves in a county final.
Like you mentioned there, they've conceded no goals in the county series, but they also conceded no goals in the Carbery Championship. So that's 8 games played, 8-1, and no goals conceded, which is a remarkable record when you consider, like, kind of not to concede 1 goal in 8 games. Diarmuid O'Donovan in goal. We have an interview with him in this week's Star, and he's like, it is a team effort. Kind of, he sent his 6 backs, and the whole team has worked remarkably hard. But to get to county final and have not conceded a goal is some sign of a mean defence. And if they can hold Kilshannig scoreless in terms of goals on Sunday, that will give them a chance, because, to be fair, Kilshannig will be the big favourites. There's no getting away from that. St James's have absolutely nothing to lose. This is real bonus territory, because this is a team, like I said at the start of the year, weren't even in the conversation for a West Cork championship, yet here they are now in a county final. This is a club that didn't field under 16 minor or under 21 teams this year. That junior team is still an ageing team, kind of 11 or 12 of the starting 15 are 30 or over. So for them to be in a county final, it's the stuff of dreams, and like, this season will be the stuff of legend in years to come. Yeah,
and you mentioned they're going to be up against it on Saturday against Kilshannig. We'll just go through Kilshannig's path to the final in the county series now. In round 1, they beat Passage West 4-17 to 4 points. In the quarter-final, they beat Ballinhassig 2-10 to 4 points. And in the semi-final, they won 111 to 1-9. So they've scored 7 goals in 3 games, 7 goals, 38 points, and conceded 117. So they also have a mean defence, but it's those 7 goals. And so there is an interesting team building here. Kilshannig are a free-scoring, goal-scoring side. And as you mentioned, St. James's haven't conceded even 1 goal in 8 games. So I guess to kind of analyse the game at its most basic level, if St. James's, as you mentioned, can hold them scoreless, there's no reason they can't win this game. But it's going to be very tricky against a side that are scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think even the semi-final just gone, Kilshannig, like you said there, they beat Ivlera 111 to 1-9, and for some people that was effectively the final, because Ivlera are the Musgrave champions and they were gunning for the county this year. Kilshannig, like we've been saying, are a strong team. Killian O'Hanlon, the Cork senior, is flying with them. He'll be a fella that St. James's will need to keep quiet on Sunday. So Kilshannig will go in as strong favourites, but, and I said it on Twitter kind of the weekend, St. James's will be a very tough nut to crack. They have absolutely nothing to lose here. They can go out on Sunday, leave everything on the pitch. The whole parish will be up there. I'd say there won't be a light bulb on in the parish on Sunday afternoon. Everyone's going to be up there supporting them. It's the biggest day in the club's history, you know. But win or lose, what they've achieved this season already is remarkable. Just want to wish them the very, very best of luck. The whole Carbery division is rooting for them. All of West Cork is rooting for them, because it's just a fantastic story. It's a real underdog story, and we all love a good underdog story. So wouldn't it be great if St. James has kind of pulled off the biggest shock of all and won a county? Would be absolutely remarkable. So best of luck to them this Sunday. And I caught up with the secretary, Liam Evans, at the Carbery GA monthly award on Monday night, where they received an award just off the back of winning that first ever Carbery Junior A football championship. And Liam's in good form. Liam, is it Sunday the biggest day in St. James's club history? Would that be fair to say?
Sunday, November the 10th. I was never seen the likes of it before in our club. Never expected anything like this in all our years involved. You know, it's amazing for a small club, small place, smallest parish in West Cork.
Good.
And if you told me this 6 months ago, I'd have you taken away in a straitjacket.
I think what's most impressive for me, Liam, is just straight after winning West Cork for the first time, and you were straight into the county the weekend after. I think it was against Cove, and there was no hangover as such. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like for a club that wins their first ever kind of Carbery Junior A, kind of you'd forgive them almost if they lost the next game, because the celebrations you'd expect would be huge. But that wasn't the case with you.
Yeah, I was. Maybe the following Monday morning we mightn't agree with you. There was a lot of hangovers here on the following Monday morning. But we said we'd have one good night, and after that it was straight back into training. The lads knuckled down the Wednesday night, and Friday night they trained, and straight back into the game with Cove. It amazed everybody really how we got over that game. You know, we put up a huge score. We kept Cove, I think, to a few points, 2 points from play, I think. 2-17 to 2 points. Yeah. That's some scoring. It was amazing, like, and on a bad day for football, heavy rain, you know, at the clock 2:17, it showed the lads we're in here with a big chance and knuckle down and go as far as we can. We have nothing to lose. That's it. Because I'm talking to Joe Sullivan, the captain there, and he said that you got together the Wednesday after winning West Cork, and that's the Wednesday before the Cove game. And it was like you kind of reset, refocus, you know, kind of park the West Cork for now and go as far as St. James's can in the county. Yeah, we did. The lads haven't seen the cup. They haven't got their hands on the cup since the day after the final. Hopefully, once this is over, we'll celebrate fairly well for the winter. We have plenty of time for that. But no, they knuckled down. Pairc was a big one. We really thought we were up against it with Pairc, and they were a fine team, but we threw everything into it, and thanks be to God, we came out the right side of it. You said there, 111 to 12 points. Yeah, 111 to 12 points against Pairc. Over Pairc, you know, that day proved to us that we're as good as what's left in the county. And could you see the confidence soaring in the boys then as it was going on? Oh, absolutely. You know, starting out the year, there were 82 teams started out in the Junior A Championship trying to win Cork County. And every game brought us on. Our defence were fantastic. Our goalkeeper, I think, has gone 8 games now without conceding a goal in the Championship so far this year. The backs are growing in confidence the whole time. They're a settled team. And to be down to the last 2 out of 82, it's not bad going. So
It's incredible. Like, in just a weekend just gone, St Michael's in the semi-final, a strong St Michael's team. St James's won 112 to 9 points. From the match report, Ger McCarthy was there for the star. It was another kind of commanding St James's display.
Michael's a fine team, big strong lads, great, two great corner forwards. But we started well. We had 3 points on the board before they got going. Came back, I think, 5-4 just before half time. But we went in 9-4 up at half time. We went 10-4 up straight away. And I won't say game over, but we were in a very commanding position from there in. And Aaron Hayes' goal, a cracker, with 5 minutes to go, put it into it. And, you know, it was a great performance. Probably the best performance we give this year so far. And
that's brilliant. Like, I suppose that's a great height to be coming off going into the county final this weekend. Kilshannig, they're a different proposition. They've been putting up big scores on the other side of the draw. They did a great win against Ivlera there in the semi-final. So what do you know about them, Liam, or what
we know very little about them. We haven't gone to see them. We're doing our own thing. Let them come and see us. I know they were in Ovens the other day watching us, but look, we have no fear at this stage. We have nothing to lose. They beat a fancied Ivlera side by 2 points. Look, it's all on the day. It's all to play for.
I presume belief must be huge in the team right now.
It's all about belief, and the belief that's instilled into the players this year. I think that's what's getting them places. You know, they have a great belief in themselves. They are great comrades since they were 8-10 years of age. They're all the same lads right up through the ranks. Same lads that won Junior B in 2005. You know, they're probably an ageing bunch, but they have physicality and they have cuteness, and don't write them off.
You've been involved in this club for an awful long time, Liam. What are these couple of weeks, a couple of months been like for you, kind of, to see the club, like you said, there was 82 teams at the start of the year, but even looking at Carbery first, kind of, you wouldn't have been seen as one of the main contenders, like you've your Kilmackabys, your Cullums, your Cores and stuff, but like you deservedly won Carbery, and now you're in a county final. Can you try and put into words for yourself what it's been like?
Well, it's a dream come true anyway for a start. You know, after 2005, I thought it could never get any better than that. But we had a few slack years in between. The lads never lost hope. We kept going, kept plowing away at it, and out of the blue, this has happened. It's a dream come true, simple as that.
And I suppose while it's happening, you kind of have to make the most of it.
Oh, absolutely, make the most of it for our underage lads. See the under 8s, 10s, the under 12s there on the sideline yesterday, shouting it over the wire, looking at their heroes. It's amazing for the young lads coming through to have lads to look up to like this, and you know, the lads going into the school with the cup. It's fantastic.
Will there be anyone left at home in the parish on Sunday?
Very, very, very few, I think. Very few.
Oh, brilliant, Liam. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Kieran.
Thanks for listening to the Star Sport Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things sport in West Cork. Don't forget to pick up this Thursday's Southern Star newspaper, including our award-winning sports section with everything a West Cork sports fan could want. In shops across West Cork and online from anywhere in the world via www.thesouthernstar.ie/e-paper. The Southern Star and the Star Sport Podcast, #1 for sport in West Cork.
On October 12th at Kilmichael, Doheny's Ladies Gaelic Football Club finally landed the Cork Junior B county title, beating a strong Midleton side in the final. Having lost the 3 previous finals, this win must have been all the sweeter, and in a few minutes we're going to hear from their captain Martina Collins, who spoke to Kieran a little earlier. But first, Kieran, you might tell us about the significance of that famous win.
You almost said it there yourself, Jack. They lost the previous 3 county finals, so it was 4th time lucky for Dohenys. Kind of, you can imagine their mindset heading into this county final, having lost in the previous three county deciders. You know, I'm not sure does it get psychological at some point when you just keep losing the big games. So it was so important for this Dohenys team to finally get over the line and win a county title, and they did it the hard way too. It took a last minute point. I think it was Murray Crowley, a minor who'd won the West Cork Minor B football championship the weekend before. She kicked the winning point. They won 9 points to 8 against Midleton, and almost winning a county title by a single point in a tight game like that probably makes it all the sweeter. So really significant for Dohenys given the heartbreak of the last couple of years. And it was also the Doheny Ladies GA Club, their first adult county title. And so a lot of reasons to celebrate. So Martina Collins was at the West Cork Hotel earlier this week as the Dohenys ladies picked up a Pairc GA monthly award for their achievement, and I caught up with her to look back on, I suppose, one of the greatest moment in Dohenys ladies GA Club history. Martina, what a year for the Dohenys ladies, finally winning the County Junior B Football Championship. Before we talk about that win, the 3 finals before, heartbreak after heartbreak. What was that like, losing 3 county finals in a row?
Well, the first one was against Ahada. It was heartbreaking, but then, to be honest, they were such a good side that we got over it easily enough because we knew they were the better team. They had the likes of Hannah Looney and Emma Farmer on that team, and they were outstanding.
Yeah.
And I suppose that year as well, that was kind of Melissa's first year of kind of people were getting to know her that year, and it was kind of a learning curve, and it was her way to show herself as well. So it was great in that sense that she got something out of it.
Yeah.
I suppose that year as well, we had the West Cork after it as well. So, we lost to Kinsale that year. So it was a tough year to end on. But, you always look forward to January again. You can better yourself at one way or another. So we went on again to Glanmire, same story. Again, a great team who've gone on to intermediate level now. That was tougher that day because it was the second year in a row, and I think girls found it harder to go back that January. We did beat good enough Coursey side in the West Cork that year, so that was a nice achievement, but it was never the same.
Yeah.
And then third year we got to the final again. We had met Funchal Gales the last 2 semi-finals, so we knew it was going to be a tough semi-final again. We got over that, and then we met Awandala, a team we didn't know anything about, and we were very confident that day, I will admit, and that's what probably let us down, was we were confident. It was our third year, it was our year by right,
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about Awandala, and we left it go really, and I think that was the hardest one, and to be honest, it took us a long time to get over that. We beat Skibbereen in the West Cork, but you just knew winning the West Cork wasn't the same again that year. I think it was tough. I went back to work, I think 2 or 3 days after that county, and you go back into work, you think life is back to normal, but someone mentioned the match to me and I actually started crying. That was the heartbreaking one. We just didn't play right that day, nothing went right for us. It was a bad day in Clondrahood, and to be honest, I think this year we knew we had to get that bit more out of it. We met at the start of January, and we asked Tony maybe something different, maybe, and then thankfully Finney Collins came on board, and he was just another voice, to be honest. He has this knowledge of football that he knew what players can do and what they can't do, and he was a different voice, and we knew this year that we'd get over the line at some stage, and we did, thank God.
Because it is hard to pick up the pieces, like losing 3 county finals in a row, and you kind of touched on it there with Finney. What is the difference between the Dohenys team of 2019 and the Dohenys team of the last couple of years? Can you kind of pinpoint any marked difference? Is it even psychological? Do you feel you're mentally tougher after what's happened before, or is it down to football? Is it?
I think it's a bit of both. To be honest, if you look back in the programmes over the last few years, the team has been different every year. We've lost girls through, thankfully, some of them were pregnant, it was great news. Just girls they move on, they move to Dublin and places just for work. That's life really. I think it was a psychological thing as well. Like Awandala last year, I think we were nervous. We had that thought of winning, but we didn't want to lose either, because we didn't want to go back and be the losers again.
Yeah.
And I think nerves kind of came over us that day. But this year, I think we learned how to settle down games. We learned how to remain calm, and it was something Tony did with us in training. Was kind of like, keeping the ball, keeping the possession, especially in the last few moments when you need to get maybe the final score, which we did against Castlehaven and Midleton. And we learned it was kind of keeping the heads, and it was just the experience then of, knowing you have to keep that possession or keep the ball, knowing which player you have to give it to, kind of bringing it even back if you have to. I think the experience of losing 3 finals did stand to us. We were a lot calmer going out in the pitch in Kilmichael. It really, we were ready for it this year. I think it was right. The right way to do it was winning by a point. Because I think if we went back and we had, won well against Midleton, people would have been like, oh, you should have won it the last few years. When you be just conscious of what people talk and, what people think. And, for ladies football, I think not many people support on the smaller days. And, there's always the big support on the bigger days. And, you're always conscious of what those people think. And, it's just the little things that go around in your head. So it is a psychological thing, really, isn't it? Yeah.
And then, like you said, at the county final, like you won by 1 point, 9 points to 8 against Midleton. It was Murray Crowley with the winning point very late on. Was it even sweeter just to win by, like in such a tight game, to win by 1 point? I presume the euphoria after, probably a cocktail of joy, relief, everything. Like, what was it like winning by a point, and even those couple of moments after the final whistle?
I think, to be honest, we were so excited over that score going over that no one heard the final whistle go. Like, it was just unbelievable. It was the crowd on the bank actually had realised the game was over before we even did, because we were just so happy that final score went over. And to be honest, Mairead has been a wonderful addition to our team this year. She's still minor. I think she's only after just turning 17. She's a big future ahead of her. She's playing with the Carberry Camogie team, and Kilmeen Camogie, they won the Camogie title as well this year. She just caught the ball, she kicked it, and it was in the injury time, so we didn't know how long was left. And I remember turning to Mairead Moore, PRO, and just going, how many seconds do you think is left? And she was like, I think about 6, and then it was gone. And I remember just meeting Ruth Collins, our midfielder, and there was tears coming down her face, but it was the first time we'd seen happy tears, you know, and it was just unbelievable. Like, for the few days following, it was just complete overwhelming feeling. Like, it's unbelievable, and it's still going. Like, we're visiting the schools, and I got cards in the post saying congratulations, because the people in Demanway are just so relieved that we finally won. Like, they're delighted for us, really.
We got pictures of obviously in the Southern Star of the game itself, and I don't think I've seen a captain jump 5 feet in the air after they get the cup. It was a brilliant picture. Kind of, what's it like for you to kind of captain this team on such a historic occasion? Like, kind of I think it was the first ever adult county title for the ladies club as well. Kind of, what's that all like for you? Kind of, like, I suppose it's like a band of sisters that you have there beside you. You've suffered through the bad days. So for you to captain them on probably your greatest day together as a team, like, can you try and put that into words?
To be honest, I just call myself the lucky one. There was 3 other unbelievable captains before me: Irene Maw, Claire Hurley and Ruth Collins. I think they deserve to have lifted that cup a lot more than me. They've been playing with the Dohenys a lot longer than I have. It was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe that, I had got the chance to lift that cup. I can't even remember that moment of jumping into the air. I was lucky enough that Noel Murray was there to capture it. To be honest, as I said in the speech, we were always the bridesmaids, and finally we were the brides that day. But yeah, we are a very close team. To be honest, it's, we all went through the bad days with each other, and we worked on the good days then as well. Like, we go out, but like, you kind of understand people more when you go through those tough days, and you understand the way people play. Like, we'd all know if we're having a bad day on the pitch, and we'd talk to each other, and there'd be always support there. Even if one of the girls had a bad day, on or off the pitch, I've got text messages being like, "Oh, are you okay?" And you do the same to them, like, "Are you all right? These things happen. You'll have a better day the next day." And that's what you play football and you play sport for. It's the friends and the teammates. It's a different kind of friendship than you do with other people, because you go through those moments and no one else will understand them. You have
a lovely winter ahead of you, kind of celebrating. But even quick look forward to next year, 2020 Junior A. You're going to be playing different teams. Like, that must be a relief after a couple of years playing probably the same teams year after year in Junior B. In Junior A now, you'll get to face different opposition. Kind of, it's a new challenge again. But it's something you probably feel that you are ready for at this stage.
Completely. Like, we were meeting Skibbereen this year for the first time, and local rivals. We had a great West Cork semi-final against them. It was in one of the hottest days of the year. And they're a brilliant side coming up, but we are so looking forward to Junior A. It's a faster paced game. We play the County A League with a few years now, because we won it, and we beat Glenmire that again a few years ago. But we play most of the Junior A teams in our league, so we know what the games are like. And we finished 3rd in the league this year, so there's no saying we can't go on for good things in 2020. We played Dunamore in the league in a competitive game. We lost to them, but we played them a few weeks later in a practice game and we beat them, and now they're looking forward to a Munster final this year, which is unbelievable. And they're playing next week, I think. So like, there is great things to come. It's funny that you said we have a good winter ahead of us. We're playing against some of us play for Drina and some of us play for Doheny Town in the soccer. So there's a bit of competitiveness there again now. But it's a bit of crack. It's nice to play against each other, do you know? But yeah, we're looking forward to 2020. I think, you know, some of the girls are even wondering when we're back training and stuff. So I'm just hoping the lads, Tony and Keith and Finney and Darren, will stay on board with us. Do you know, it'll be exciting to go into a new kind of level with them as well, to see how the trainings will pick up. And, you know, even I'd see, you know, the dedication. There's some of us not even living in Cork. I travel from Dungarvan myself for training. Some of the girls live in the city. There's girls living in Limerick and Dublin, and they're still playing with the Dohenys because we want to play with the Dohenys, you know. So it's good to see the girls being so committed, you know. So it's great. We're looking forward to 2020, all right.
Finally, what a fantastic year, like with the minors winning the West Cork minor Bs in it, and with you winning the county and the West Cork as well, kind of.
And the under 15s won the West Cork as well.
Brilliant, like kind of just for the club alone and for Dohenys ladies football, like kind of, it's what a season it's been. Like, you must be absolutely thrilled and delighted with it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, you know, the club in itself is actually so small because we're actually a separate club to the men's, and I don't think people know that. So we have to do our own fundraising and our own, you know, promotion and everything. And Mairead Morse, she's our PRO this year. She's done Trojan work just through Facebook and Twitter. Like, she's got people to the games and everything. But the numbers coming from like under 6, under 8, they're getting bigger every week because Ruth Collins and Irene Maw, they all train the little ones because their kids are in it. And do you know, it's brilliant to see them out. Like, we go training on the Wednesday and they're on before us, and it's lovely to see. But then for us, we're bringing back the cups to the schools and they're seeing us winning as well. So that encourages them on. You know, that there is achievement at the end of it. And, you know, sport is so good for young people as well, just for your mind and for friendships. You know, it's unbelievable. So I can't wait to see what 2020 brings for the Dohenys ladies, especially that minor team. They're brilliant. They lost to a good Ballinora side. But look, you know, they're young as well. A lot of them were playing on the under 15 team. So they have a few years ahead of them now again to win the minor again. So hopefully, fingers crossed for the Dohenys ladies anyway, that we keep the success going.
Onwards and upwards for the Dohenys ladies.
Hopefully.
Thanks for joining us, Martina.
Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Star Sport Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things sport in West Cork. Don't forget to pick up this Thursday's Southern Star newspaper, including our award-winning sports section with everything a West Cork sports fan could want. In shops across West Cork and online from anywhere in the world via www.thesouthernstar.ie/e-paper. The Southern Star and the Star Sport Podcast, #1 for sport in West Cork.
Welcome back to the Star Sport Podcast, and before we preview this Thursday's Southern Star Sports section, Kieran, I just wanted to ask you firstly about your book launch last Friday evening at the West Cork Hotel. Big turnout there. There was some high flying people talking well about you.
Yeah, great night, check in the West Cork Hotel. Delighted that Lord David Putnam, he's an honorary vice president of Skibbereen Rowing Club. He kind of officially launched the book. So kind of,
is he going to option your book for a movie perhaps?
I wouldn't say no to that. If he wants to discuss it, sport@thesouthernstarTV, drop me a line. But no, just great.
If that does come to pass, if Lord Putnam options your book to turn it into kind of a Hollywood story, because he's got kind of sports movies in his back catalogue, doesn't he? So I just want to put it on record that I want to at least audition for a part.
You'd be a great extra.
Yeah.
You'd be super extra. You know,
I've seen an extra.
I've seen you standing in the background here in the Star, and you do it really well. You know, I can pitch you in the crowd in Rio, kind of. So yeah, so I'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, that's kind of not the answer I was looking for. But look, it's a work in progress. Let
our agents talk.
Yeah, we'll let our agents talk. But it was, joking aside, good night.
Great night. Yeah, it was great to see kind of rowers past and present there. Eugene Coakley, 2-time Olympian, came all down from Belfast with his family. We'd Fintan McCarthy, Jake McCarthy, Shane O'Driscoll, Denise Walsh. Unfortunately, Gary and Paul couldn't be there. Gary's gone out on camp already because the battle for the Irish lightweight double is heating up, and I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, just great night. Just kind of gets the book off to a good start, and it was my favourite part was actually the 3 founding members, Danny Murphy, Donny Fitzgerald and Richard Hosford. They're all reunited. Donny lives in England now, so he flew home for the book launch, and at one point I saw the 3 of them hatching a plan, so I went over to see what's happening next, because the last time those 3 hatched a plan, Skibbereen Rowing Club was born, and look what that's gone on to achieve. So just a really good night, really good feel-good factor, and the book is out there now in all good bookshops, and don't forget, and
some bad ones too,
and some bad ones too, and it's shortlisted too for the Irish Sports Book of the Year. And if anybody wants to vote for it, go on to the On Post Irish Book Awards website and give us a vote. It'd be very much appreciated. But I just mentioned too, and I won't spend long on it, Jack, about the battle for the Irish lightweight double at the moment, because it's almost the next chapter of this book is writing itself. As we all know, Paul O'Donovan and Fintan McCarthy qualified the Irish lightweight double for next year's Olympics. So that means that the boat is qualified, but the 2 places are up for grabs. So at the moment, we have Paul O'Donovan and Gary O'Donovan, Fintan and Jake McCarthy, 2 sets of brothers, are battling for the seats. And now Shane O'Driscoll, who was a lightweight before, and he won the lightweight pair with Mark O'Donovan in 2017. They were world champions, and Mark and Shane tried to go heavyweight. It didn't work out. Shane has dropped back down to lightweight. So now you have 5 Skibbereen rowers battling for the 2 seats. And at a recent trial, Shane did quite well, and he came second in the trial. So all of a sudden, you have these...
There's another layer.
It's incredible, kind of. And Shane is great friends with Gary and Paul. Like, if you were standing in Gary and Paul's home kitchen in Lachine, you look across the field, you'll see Shane's house. And they've rowed together the whole way up. So you have 5 Skibbereen rowers battling for those 2 seats. And if you want to be quite honest, it's really 4 battling for 1, because if Paul O'Donovan stays fit and injury free, he's the best, so he will be in the boat. So Gary, Fintan, Jake and Shane are all battling for 1 seat. So they're out in camp at the moment in Banyoles for a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a hard winter slog ahead of them. But it's incredible again for Skibbereen Rowing Club, because whatever way you look at it, there will be 2 Skibbereen men in that Irish lightweight double at next year's Olympics. So
a revised edition of the book to come out next year post Olympics, possibly.
Touch wood, hopefully there'll be a medal there. So.
Good stuff. Well, as Kieran said, that's in all good bookstores now. Just briefly then, Southern Star Sports section this week, what can readers expect?
Big preview of St James's against Kilshannig, like we were talking about earlier, in the county final. Unfortunately, last weekend, Gabriel Rangers and Goleen lost their county deciders. Gabriel's missed 2 penalties, and they only lost by 2 points in the end, so that will feel like a missed chance. But the silver lining is that they were already promoted to next year's Premier Intermediate Championship, so that will soften the blow somewhat. Goleen were well outplayed by St Michael's, but still Goleen have got the 2 county finals in the 1 year, so they can take a lot of comfort from that. Newcestown and Kilbrittain, we have a big report from the Carbery Under-21A Hurling Championship final. An absolute cracker that went all the way to extra time before Newcestown came out on top, and Edmund Keneally scored 118 of Newcestown's 125 tally, and 13 of those were from frees, but 118, that's huge scoring. Like, that's pretty impressive. And I see there on Twitter someone was saying to me he's only 17 years old, so to be putting up a score like that is
one to watch.
Super scoring. So the Carbery Junior D football final replay was on with the Carbery Junior C hurling final, rugby. Also, the Coastal Rowing Championships were on in Hong Kong last weekend, and there was a very, very strong West Cork representation. So we have a full report on that and a page of pictures. So yeah, plenty to sink your teeth into in this week's Southern Star, out on Thursday morning.
And if you can't make it to a shop, as we say every week, you can also read it on your computer, tablet or smartphone for only €2.
That's value.
That's value. And just click on to www.southernstar.ie/e-paper, and you can read it from anywhere in the world.
It's that easy, Jack.
It is that easy.
So thanks for listening to this week's Star Sport podcast. We'll be back at the same time next week. So if you enjoy these shows, please make sure to rate, review and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Acast, Stitcher or wherever else you listen to the show.